Curtains down on Phase 2 campaign. Kerala to vote in 48 hours. Parties pull out all stops for last campaign leg.
देश में भी कम्युनिस्ट समाप्त हो गए हैं और कांग्रेस देश में समाप्त हो गई है। आने वाला समय भारतीय जनता पार्टी का है।
इस परिवार के सदस्यों ने जीवन दिया है देश के लिए पीढ़ियों से, और हम देते रहेंगे। आप चाहो न चाहो, गालियां दो, घर से निकाल दो, जेल में डाल दो।
If you vote me and elect me, then I will take it up in Parliament. I will go to any extent to see that these issues are solved.
Kerala battle ready. Top focus on Kerala Election Express.
Good evening, Namaskaram. You're joining us live here on India Today. I'm Akshata Nandagopal. Our Election Express focusing completely on the beautiful state of Kerala. Campaigning officially coming to an end, and it's been a high voltage campaign with so much at stake. 20 seats in Kerala. We're going to be getting you all the highlights of what's played out in the last few hours, because every party, the UDF, the LDF, the BJP, has ensured that they end their campaign with a bang. We'll be getting you all those updates and live images from the ground. Let's begin with the headlines. Congress in damage control mode after Sam Pitroda's inheritance tax remark. Congress distances itself. Prime Minister Modi lashes out, says Congress will loot the dead as well.
So if Congress की नजर आपकी कमाई पर, आपके मकान, दुकान, खेत, खलिहान पर भी है।
Big Congress manifesto war. Rahul Gandhi speaks out on the wealth survey for the first time. Says it's Prime Minister Modi who created wealth inequality in India. BJP protests in Delhi seeks Congress manifesto rollback.
16 लाख करोड़ रुपए उन 200 में से 25 लोगों को नरेंद्र मोदी ने दिया है। 16 लाख करोड़ रुपए।
Quota showdown erupts in Karnataka. Muslims categorized as OBCs. Prime Minister Modi hits out, says Congress will snatch Dalit quota and give it to Muslims. It's official. Akhilesh Yadav will be fighting from Uttar Pradesh's Kannauj. The Samajwadi Party chief will file his nomination tomorrow. It's Akhilesh versus BJP's Subrat Pathak in the fray. And final day of campaigning for Phase 2 Lok Sabha elections. Voting for 89 seats across 13 states will be held in the second phase on April 26th. Massive outrage continues over Hubballi campus stabbing. CID takes accused Fayaz into 6-day custody. Congress student body demands CBI investigation now. And as it's past 6 p.m. now, the Election Commission's silence period is officially kicked off, which means campaigning has now come to an end in all of the states and seats that are polling in Phase 2 on Friday. So you're seeing 89 constituencies where campaigning has officially come to an end. These 89 constituencies are spread across 13 states, and on April 26th, polling will happen. Of course, the big focus that everyone's talking about is the state of Kerala. With 20 seats, the whole state will be polling on April 26th. We'll be getting you all the images of the mega campaign that's also happened in Kerala on the very last day, the Kalashakottu as it's called, which is when all the candidates come together in one spot for this mega election festival of sorts to celebrate what the campaign has looked like for the last many months. But let me just, before we really focus on Kerala, take you through all of the seats that you need to know which will be polling in phase 2. Let's take this across to our election intelligence dashboard right now and focus on phase 2 of elections. Now, there are several states to watch out for, and before I really talk about Kerala, let's look at some others as well right now. You've got, in fact, parts of Uttar Pradesh that will be polling in phase 2. Remember, UP is one of those states, and in every single phase has a couple of seats going to polls. In this case, on April 26th, on Friday, you have 8 seats that will be polling very close to West UP, which polled, in fact, on April 19th in the first phase. 8 seats in all. The BJP largely leading in many of these seats. If you look at the 2019 numbers, they'll be hoping for a repeat of that. Now, similar to Uttar Pradesh is also West Bengal, in the sense that this state too, in every phase, has a handful of seats going to polls. So 3 seats in West Bengal that will be polling. And later in this broadcast, I'll break down for you which are the seats to watch out for in each of these states. Rajasthan, another very crucial state. Now, in Rajasthan, you've got, in fact, 13 out of the 25, 13 seats that will be polling right now in the second phase. So majority part of Rajasthan is in phase 2, which is why you've seen a high decibel campaign there. Let's take a look quickly at Maharashtra, and then I'll talk about 2 big states really that we're watching out for. In Maharashtra, 8 seats that will be polling in phase 2 come Friday. So here too, campaigning has come to an end. The 2 states that everyone's going to be focusing on, one is the state of Karnataka. With 28 seats up for grabs, Karnataka's voting has been split in 2 parts. Phase 2, which will have 14 seats going to polls, so largely South Karnataka. That includes the city of Bengaluru, of Dakshina Kannada, and all of these parts that will be polling. North Karnataka is in phase 3. And then the state that will be going in its entirety for polls. It's the state of Kerala with 20 seats up for grabs. We've seen a very, very interesting campaign in Kerala as well. I'll run you through some of the candidates to watch out for in Kerala, but let me introduce right now our reporters on this broadcast who have been tracking all the updates in Kerala. We've got Shibi Mol joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram, and also Shilpa Nair joining us live from Wayanad. So namaskaram to both of you. I'm sure you're all set for our poll coverage on Friday as well. Shibi, if I can begin with you. We've seen, of course, several highs in this campaign. There are some battles to watch out for. Which are the ones personally that you think will go down to the wire, will be interesting fights? I don't think Shibi can hear me just yet. We'll go across to her in just a bit. Till then, let's take a look at some of the seats that you need to watch out for in Kerala right now. Which are the battles that are going to be particularly interesting? Let's begin, of course, with the one phase everyone's talking about. Rahul Gandhi and the fact that he's going to be contesting from Wayanad yet again. This is going to be a very interesting battle. It was a walkover for Rahul Gandhi in 2019. This time around, Annie Raja has been fielded by the left. She's CPI candidate. It's her first electoral battle, but considering that she's a local face, she does have some pull, some weight there. So it'll be interesting to see that particular battle. Is it really a 3-way battle in Wayanad? Not really. But K. Surendran, just for the sheer optics of it, has been put up by the BJP. He's the face of the Kerala BJP, and he's going to be taking on Rahul Gandhi and Annie Raja. Let's take a look at some other seats also in Kerala to watch out for. Thiruvananthapuram, of course, is the other big one where you have a 3-way battle in its truest sense. There's been a lot of focus on these 2 faces of Shashi Tharoor, the sitting MP, and you have Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's been put up by the BJP. Big high-profile battle, high-stakes one. Pannian Ravindran. Now, here's a face you can't ignore. He's been posted by the left, a veteran leader. He also has considerable influence in Thiruvananthapuram. So this truly is a 3-way battle to watch out for. Shibi Mol, I understand, is with us now on this broadcast. Shibi, namaskaram, good evening. Take us through really the battle for Thiruvananthapuram. I think it's been summed up beautifully in the images also that we're seeing of all 3 candidates coming together, which is intrinsic with Kerala politics, really, that on the last day of campaign, they all come together. All right, apologies. We're having a problem with Shibi's connection there. We're going to connect with her, but you can see from Thiruvananthapuram that the weather is actually pretty bad. Very stormy. It's just started pouring in the city, so we'll try to connect with Shibi. Those images on your screens, you can see Rajiv Chandrasekhar, you can see Shashi Tharoor, all of them going ahead and pulling off one last mega campaign. It's called a Kalashakottu in Kerala, which is essentially that on the last day, in the last few hours, all the three candidates or more in the fray will come together at one significant point of their constituency, and they'll all campaign together. So very interesting images that is unique to Kerala politics, and that's what you're seeing on your screens. Both those images showing you how you've got BJP and Congress flags at the exact same venue, which you won't see anywhere else in national politics. So Kerala set up for that mega election fight, is battle ready completely. Thiruvananthapuram, Wayanad, as I told you, some other seats like Pathanamthitta, Thrissur and Athingal will be watched out for. Now it's largely a two-way battle between the UDF and the LDF. There are some seats, however, where the BJP is trying to make their voice heard, is trying to ensure that they can actually have an impact on the ground, which makes an interesting three-way battle as well. So as we get you all of these images of, in fact, the fight that is taking place on ground, the campaigning has come to an end, and now over the next 24 hours, it's a silence period, but after that, you're going to be seeing the campaign really, you'll see all the voters taking a call on what they want. Let me bring in Shilpa Nair on this broadcast till we really connect with Shibi. Shilpa is reporting from Wayanad, where again, we saw Priyanka Gandhi today, Shilpa. We've seen also K. Surendran accompanied by Annamalai campaigning. Annie Raja has been out there pulling all stops for her campaign. Not really a three-way battle if you look at it, but an interesting fight, at least between the CPI and the Congress.
Well, that's right, Akshita. In fact, we're currently in Wayanad, and just a few minutes back, this entire area, the atmosphere was electric because, like you were pointing out, the Kalashakottu was happening right here in this junction. We saw flags of the CPI, the Congress, and the BJP, all of them blaring loud music, their party songs, sloganeering, and all of that. And when the time struck 6 exactly, all of them dispersed without creating any scene. And the police officials, of course, deployed here to ensure that no law and order issue takes place. There was a minor scuffle between party workers, but that was sorted out. And when the time struck 6, all of them just dispersed because the campaigning officially ends at 6. And speaking about Wayanad, of course, it's a very, very interesting fight here. Rahul Gandhi, this prominent Congress leader, he's fighting once again from the Wayanad constituency. He's taking on CPI's Annie Raja, another veteran leader, and BJP has fielded its state president K. Surendran from Wayanad, even though BJP very well realizes that Wayanad is essentially a Congress stronghold. They do not want it to be a simple contest for the Congress and for the left, and that's the reason why they went with their most popular face in the state, K. Surendran. And today, of course, K. Annamalai, the BJP state president of Tamil Nadu, was accompanying him, giving him the final push in Wayanad. Annie Raja, we saw her campaigning, crisscrossing across the constituency, and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was also here in Wayanad campaigning on behalf of her brother.
And I think that gives you a sense of how important and significant the battle for Wayanad truly is. The fact that you had all these big leaders out there in the last day of campaigning. Shilpa, stay on with me. Let's take a look really at the numbers and how it stood in 2019 in the state of Kerala. Now, if you look really at how the UDF and LDF fared, largely, like I said, it's between the UDF and LDF in Kerala. There's in Kerala, always a very, very clear marked difference between assembly elections and general elections. And these numbers stand testament to exactly that. The fact that a CPM got 1 seat, whereas the Congress got 15, this is out of the 20 seats in Kerala, speaks volumes of how the Kerala voter makes a difference between assembly elections and general elections, always choosing a national party, knowing full well that their vote for the Congress is for a national party in the general election versus for the left. Now, remember that in an assembly battle, these numbers perhaps would look very, very different to you. But that's what makes Kerala politics so interesting to also cover, about how an educated voter really looks at the difference, looks at what each constituent, each electorate and each candidate really has to offer to them before they go ahead and cast that vote. I want to bring in quickly Shibi Mulla on this broadcast. We've finally managed to connect through to her. Shibi, we were talking earlier about the battle for Thiruvananthapuram, which you've covered in great detail, speaking to all of the candidates in the fray. This truly is one of those few seats, Shibi, where you can actually call it a three-way battle.
Oh, well, exactly, Akshada. In fact, right from the beginning, Thiruvananthapuram constituency was one of the constituency that was the, that took the center stage of attention, just like Wayanad. Wayanad more so because of Rahul Gandhi was contesting from there, but Thiruvananthapuram was actually, caught the attention because of the three-way battle that it was, taking place here between Shashi Tharoor, Rajiv Chandrasekhar and Pannian Ravindran. In fact, interestingly, this time the CPI also fielded a very strong popular face, on-ground popular face, which again made the competition really tight because last two elections, if we see, it was more of a direct fight between the BJP and the Congress. This time, it's a CPI also in the contest. They're in the picture. Which is one of the reasons why I've seen Dr. Tharoor also saying that, the left should have been bit careful while fielding a very popular face like Pannian Ravindran. So it's a tight three-way contest. During Kalashakottu, we tend to check the pictures and visuals from all the constituencies in Kerala. And today when we check the visuals, Thiruvananthapuram literally overpowered all the constituencies where the Kalashakottu took place, which shows the tight contest taking place here in Thiruvananthapuram. In the last 1 or 2 months, we've seen war of words exchange between Rajiv Chandrasekhar and Shashi Tharoor here. The contest is mainly about how much votes the left is going to get, which way the neutral voters are going to vote is what is going to decide, the candidate who will be representing Thiruvananthapuram constituency in the upcoming Lok Sabha, after the upcoming Lok Sabha election. We've spoken about Thiruvananthapuram. Thrissur is also a three-way tight battle between all the three candidates in Kerala. There are 5 to 6 constituencies where there's a very, very tight contest between the left and the Congress, which some of the surveys have also failed to predict a clear winner from those constituencies. And in fact, in some of the constituencies where there's a tight contest between left and Congress, we have seen, the Kalashakottu for all the three candidates taking place at 3 different locations also for the first, probably for the first time, because of the intense battle that's taking place on ground between all the three parties. So it's
only in Kerala that you can see all the political parties in the fray come together for one event, which is the Kalashakottu that we're referring to, and all of it going off peacefully. There were 1 or 2 stray incidents, but otherwise completely peaceful. And that's only in Kerala and Kerala politics that you can see something like that being pulled off. A party cadre all coming together, energized, and yet completely peaceful as well. Let's focus really on the political war of words that's been playing out. In the last many weeks here on India Today, we've been getting you all of those comments by both Rahul Gandhi and Pinarayi Vijayan where they haven't held back. They've constantly targeted each other. Today too, on the last day of the campaign, when you had Home Minister Amit Shah in Alappuzha, you had Priyanka Gandhi Vadra in Wayanad, they once again sniped at each other. The BJP, of course, mocking the India bloc, saying this is the reality, that they fight it out in Kerala, but are best friends in Delhi.
Rift widens in India bloc ahead of crucial Lok Sabha polls, with Congress's Rahul Gandhi and Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan escalating their battle in Kerala. In a fresh attack, Kerala Chief Minister mocked Rahul Gandhi, calling him Pappu and asking him to be politically sensible. Vijayan has been slamming Rahul for running away from Amethi and fighting the left in the south instead of taking on the BJP in the north.
ഇവിടെയുള്ള കോൺഗ്രസിന്റെ ചില ആളുകൾക്ക് പ്രത്യേകമായ ചില താല്പര്യങ്ങളും ഉദ്ദേശങ്ങളും ഉണ്ടാകാം. അവര് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ അതേപോലെ ആവർത്തിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു വ്യക്തിത്വമല്ലല്ലോ രാഹുൽ ഗാന്ധിക്ക് ഉണ്ടാകേണ്ടത്. അദ്ദേഹം രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ രാഷ്ട്രീയം കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളായിട്ടല്ലേ മാറേണ്ടത്. അവിടെ അതിനനുസരിച്ച് പ്രതികരണമാണോ ഉണ്ടായത്? അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്, നിങ്ങൾ പഴയ പേരിലേക്ക് മാറരുത്.
Vijayan's fresh attack came after a left-backed Neta attacked Rahul over his DNA and questioned if he is indeed belong to the Gandhi family.
Rahul Gandhi എന്ന് കൂട്ടി വിളിക്കാന്ന് സത്യത്തിൽ കഴിഞ്ഞ 2-3 ദിവസമായി രാഹുൽ ആ ഗാന്ധി എന്ന ആ പേര് പോലും കൂട്ടിച്ചേർത്ത് പറയാൻ അർഹതയില്ലാത്തൊരു നാലാളുടെ പൗരനായി രാഹുൽ ഗാന്ധി മാറി എന്ന് ഞാനല്ല പറയുന്നത്. നെഹ്റു കുടുംബത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യൻ ഉണ്ടാവും. രാഹുൽ ഗാന്ധിയുടെ DNA പരിശോധിക്കണമെന്ന അഭിപ്രായക്കാരനാണ്.
Congress's Shashi Tharoor lambasted Vijayan and called left's attack at Rahul shocking and shameful.
I'm surprised the CM would say that. The CM is supposed to be an ally of ours in the India alliance. If they want, they can claim they'll be better at attacking the BJP than us. But instead of doing that, all they're doing is attacking the Congress party and its leaders like Rahul Gandhi. This is shocking. And I would urge the Chief Minister to have a cool down and rethink about what exactly he's trying to do in this campaign. We have a common target, and that is to change the government in Delhi.
BJP mocked the fight between Rahul and Vijayan, calling the India bloc a divided house which has united only for power.
ये सो कॉल्ड इंडी अलायंस अब पूरा एक्सपोज हो चुका है। इंडी अलायंस के दो घटक कम्युनिस्ट और कांग्रेस दिल्ली में तो एक मंच पर आते हैं, केरल और बंगाल में आमने सामने लड़ते हैं। इनकी ये लड़ाई नकली लड़ाई है। कम्युनिस्ट और कांग्रेस के बीच में इलू इलू चल रहा है, संभल कर रखना केरल वालों।
After April 19, the India Alliance knew they were banking that phase 1 is a strong area. Even phase 1, they are not going to get any seats in a major way. So Congress have started desperately attacking each other among the India Alliance, where Vijayanji wants Rahul Gandhi ji to get arrested, Rahul Gandhi ji wants Vijayanji to get arrested. After phase 2, the fight will only more intensify. People are looking at this comical show.
Wayanad is witnessing a high-profile three battle. Congress's Rahul Gandhi, CPIM's Annie Raja and BJP's K. Surendran. With Shibimol KG, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's get you images now from Malappuram, where you had Kalashakottu taking place, which is that all candidates, all party cadre from different parties come together for the end of the campaign. There were clashes that broke out in Malappuram between UDF and LDF supporters. As you see on your screens there, you can see the police officials having a tough time controlling them. This happened just about an hour ago, but we understand that because of a huge crowd, you could see people coming together, having an argument of sorts and trying to attack each other. But the cops intervened and ensured that immediately the crowds dispersed and that peace was in fact reinstated back in that particular area. But we understand a minor clash did break out as arguments were reported from both sides. As we focus on phase 2 polling happening on Friday on April 26th, let's talk about the state of Karnataka, because it's the first time that Karnataka goes to polls in this general election. Remember, Karnataka is voting in 2 phases. Of 28 seats, exactly half is going to vote on Friday. 14 of those seats all in South Karnataka. South Karnataka is a BJP bastion, and that's clear from the numbers that you see on your screens. The only one seat that the Congress managed to get is Bangalore Rural, really, in South Karnataka. Otherwise, everything was swept by the BJP, who had won with the JDS largely in the farming belt and one independent. So this is how the numbers were stacked up as far as the 14 seats that are up for grabs in phase 2 are concerned. Remember, in all, Karnataka has 28 seats. The rest 14 go to polls during phase 3. So it'll be interesting to watch out for what North Karnataka looks like. But let's focus right now on phase 2. We've seen high-profile campaigning taking place across Karnataka with 28 seats. These particular parts of Karnataka, which includes Dakshina Kannada, Bengaluru, the city, Mandya, Mysuru, all very, very crucial. The Congress-ruled state is likely to witness important political battles. Much like Kerala, in Karnataka, to a general election is very, very different from an assembly election, and how really people come out to vote. In the first phase for Karnataka, second phase nationwide, there are some very crucial battles to watch out for. Of course, you've got all of the Bengaluru seats, and then you have H.D. Kumaraswamy also in the fray. In Mandya, the farming belt of farming constituency, he's going to be squaring off also against Venkataramana Gowda of the Congress. And then the Bengaluru battles to watch out for, the Mysuru battle with the Royal Sign in the poll fray. Let's take a look at some of the key candidates to watch out for. So 14 seats, like I said, 12 seats with the NDA, 1 with the India bloc. And if we were to take a look at the VIP seats, and I'm largely going to focus on Bengaluru right now, let's look at Bangalore South, where you have Tejaswi Surya up against Soumya Reddy of the Congress. Soumya Reddy, who lost the assembly election by just a handful of votes and cried, of course, political conspiracy. This is going to be a very interesting battle, where Tejaswi Surya, the winner in 2019, is going to be looking at repeating celebrating the massive win that he managed to score in 2019. Let's look at Bangalore Rural, the only seat that the Congress managed to win in South Karnataka last time around in 2019. DK Suresh, DK Shivkumar's brother, is fielded from here. It's his stronghold. But what makes this battle interesting is CN Manjunath has been fielded with the BJP symbol. He is the son-in-law of H.D. Devagowda, has just taken the political plunge from a doctor, a cardiologist, now to entering politics. So that's the other Bangalore seat to watch out for. Let's take a look at Bangalore North, where you have Shobha Karanlaje, who's been fielded in place of Sadananda Gowda. This is a seat that was won by the BJP previously. Shobha Karanlaje is a new entrant into the seat. What really does that mean for the BJP is the question. Rajiv Gowda is taking her on from the Congress. So those are, in fact, the Bangalore seats to watch out for. And then, of course, you have Bangalore Central, where you have PC Mohan against Mansoor Ali Khan. So these are the battles really to watch out for as far as Bengaluru City is concerned. And you can trust us here on India Today to get you all of those updates when Bengalurians go out to cast their vote, to exercise their franchise in just 2 days from now. And with that, I'm wrapping up this broadcast. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., we'll be counting down to phase 2 of polling, particularly with our focus on Kerala and Karnataka. Thanks very much for tuning in.